Good morning out there, in there, out there. I'm in here, out here. It's so nice to hear from. It just makes me happy to know there's certain of you I know are out there now. Here comes Vivi. I don't know if she's gonna hop up and be with me and us. Boom. We gotta turn that music off. That's what we have to do. Yeah, we have music playing in the background, and I don't know where my phone is, so there it is. Probably heard that rumble. That's wake up music, you know. You gotta have that. And you press this. Look at me, look how good I am. Boom. Okay. Now where do you want to go? You want to knock this cord down? You want to go over there? Here we are. It's exciting. This is what you tune in for. To watch a dog try to go nowhere. Vivian, I can't do anything. Look at this. I have to be a contortionist. Thank you, Viv. That's so polite. Okay. Shall we start again? Good morning out there. Welcome to the Sentimentalist. Hi, Mark.
Do you want to start again?
Hmm?
Do you want to start over?
Oh, Julie said you want to start over again? Well, no, I think tumbling around on a beginning when it's nothing it's a show that's about nothing. That's a show about taking deep breaths, looking around. Our tree is still up. We're setting a record. We're going to go through February. Maybe this weekend. We might call it a week short. But then it doesn't feel so bad to take it down for us, because the Sentimentalist doesn't like to see Christmas disappear. Oh my gosh, my group last night, they're not the one I get to be host. I don't know what to say. It was staggering. What a salon. I mean, take that, Gertrude Stein. We're way, way, way beyond you and Hemingway, Picasso, and all those has-beens. Yeah. We are way past you guys. Hey, look at this. New book. My age. I really honestly didn't think this would happen. But there it is. And Julie, she worked on it and proofread it and typed it and put it in and Word and KBD and KDF and PDC and sent all these different versions to the publisher. But I'm going to need your help because I can't do what they want, go all around the country everywhere and tell people to buy it. So when this thing comes out the fall of 2024, you have homework. You're going to help the old guy, okay? 2024, that's age 80. And as I told you, my goal is to be the oldest new published poet. There's lots of 80-year-old poets, but, did they do a new book? Funny. Oh my goodness. And a couple weeks ago, I talked about a book that just came out. It's quite moving, about the loss of a young boy. And I called it The Day. I don't know why. It's boy. I called it Day. I had the Y right. Boy. By Tracy Youngbloom. She's going to be on Zoom, I think, pretty soon. Did I tell you about those people last night? Wow. Oh, wow. Poem about the need for better. There go the cats. The need to care for elderly and in better ways. This Mary Schmidt has this wonderful fund to place benches in shaded areas along walkways for older people, and then it's all about gardening And on March 14th, she's doing huge presentation, this gigantic gardening, what do you call that? Not festival. I'm sorry, Mary Schmidt. I can't think of what the word, maybe Julie will think of it. But those of you down around there, you want to go 1 o'clock, I think, 1 o'clock, right, Mary? And 2:30. She's doing it twice. And a classmate of mine, he was a year behind, a terrific pitcher, Bill Harper. He keeps sending me things, and I don't know what to do about it. It's the most wonderful, kind thing. He sent me 2 huge coffee table books of Superman was one, and Donald Duck was the other. I love it. And then he sent me The Complete Hopalong Cassidy. And when we played Cowboys and Shall We Not Fill in the Blank, when I was a kid, I was always Hoppy. We all had to be somebody else, and I was always Hoppy. It's show and tell. And he also sent me a Toy Story, one of those you put it in the microwave and put it here and you're all better, you know? Or here, and you can walk again. Yep. Well, we won't get into the argument about the sentimental. Tough thing, our dear friend Mariana, who's paraplegia from an accident, having to be moved this coming week to Ohio. You know, where she's been in the rehab, it costs $30,000 a day. We have a health crisis in this country. We don't like taking care of each other. Let somebody else. Huh? You know, speaking of that, I grew up in this little tiny town. And I mean tiny town. Okay, we didn't have a stoplight or when I was a kid or anything. You know, now I can have just forgotten, I can maybe never heard, whatever, but true that I never heard all the way through being 22. Anybody who worked in that town used the phrase make money. I never heard that. It was always, pay the bills. We save for a vacation every year. That's what I heard. Got to get the kid to college. That's what I heard. They're building a mansion out the window here. I get to look at a mansion. That's okay. They get to look at us. Oh, the less than they are. Why can't we be nobody like Emily Dickinson? Huh? She knew how important that was. I'm nobody. Who are you? Place some importance on something when everything that's really wonderful is right there. Where'd Vivi go? Right there. Right there. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, we could make more money. It strikes me in the similar way as progress. Remember when we had telephones? Did we go around every day saying, you know, we need something better than a telephone? Why don't we put a notion of progress? Hey, I'm close to being at the pulpit. But I would love to see us forget about making, a better mousetrap and all that stuff. We're always improving everything. What is that? Now, if you want to say, let's get a cure for something, hey, okay. Or do something other than fossil fuels, okay. But, do I need a better pair of socks than the ones I have on? I don't think so. Comfy. Well, let's see what else I can grumble about. Oh, Jim Alice, my friend, working in the prison, and one of his poems last night was about that. And you just sit there after you hear the poem. And the one by Kathleen Marklet, it was about her dear friend who had to be put in a, what do you call it, a unit?
Memory unit?
A what kind?
Memory unit?
Memory unit. And it's just, it's been her friend for 25 years. The day before yesterday, the friend called from the unit, called Kathleen 38 times. We have to understand caregivers, too. Kathleen answered the phone 38 times. Comfort the caregiver. We could do things like that, you know? Oh, here's another complaint. You're probably tuning out now. Big to-do in the literary world about writing in the voices. Somebody that's outside your own culture or your own financial life or whatever. How else are we going to enter into their world? And we'll just make ourselves into tribes, you know. Wait a minute, you're only 6 feet tall, you can't write that poem. He was 6'5". Breaks my heart. It really, really breaks my heart, because if we lose empathy, if we lose the willingness to enter into somebody else's world, I mean, that's how I lived in this little town, like I said, and that's how I learned about who didn't live in that little town. And I want them to learn about what it was like in that little town, where we had a telephone operator, Mrs. Totten. And my mom would get on the phone, and Mrs. Totten would say, "Who you want to call, Betty?" And my mom would say, "Betty Saladay." And Mrs. Totten said, "Oh dear, she just got on the phone. It's going to be at least 20 minutes. You might as well just do something else for a while." I'm going to be sued for name dropping. Hey, let me look here. Small town program. Jerriana's going to Ohio. You have to take her in an ambulance to another care center in Ohio. She's going to leave all her friends here. Be all alone in Ohio because Michigan insurance won't help her. And they put her in an ambulance with a nurse, because the respirator, she can't breathe on her own. Think of the cost of that alone. Why? Because insurance won't let her live in Michigan. You know, I had an interesting conversation. I am online for poems with a very renowned therapist, lives in Vermont. And it was the day after the State of the Union. Wasn't that something? Wasn't that something? By the way, how you on in Belgium, Norbert in Germany? I mean, isn't that wonderful? Anyway, that's the fun, bouncing around. I used to get that in the margin of my papers back from college. Stick to the subject. What was I going to talk about? Oh, the State of the Union. Wasn't that fun? It's embarrassing. So anyway, I asked this therapist, what do you attribute this to? I mean, these are grown-ups, or as we say here, grown-ups. Boy, that's a big place. Gee. And I said, well, what is that? And she said, well, most of us in the therapy world, and she meant this, Those people didn't have parents. Isn't that interesting? They didn't have parents. She said, now, don't mean that literally. There's some of them, maybe they literally. But it means they weren't parented. Which means you never heard things like, no, you don't say that in our house. Or just anything that gave you, as she put it, a moral center. A center of respect. And I told her, I will never forget, and it is I don't remember any other lectures or anything, and I'm sure I got them about how to behave this way or that way. And my father was a man of great respectfulness, and anyway, we were visiting some new people in town. I should have called my sister because she'll remember their name. They had a little boy who always wanted to be a bus driver when you ask him what he wanted to be when he grew up. And when he grew up, you know what? He's a bus driver. Little town. And so we were leaving. And we'll just say their name was Wilson. And they were leaving, and Mrs. Wilson stayed in the house, and Mr. Wilson came out to the car, say goodbye. And I said... he said goodbye, and I said, bye, Bob. And I got in the car. I'm 7. And before the car starts, my father says, you say, goodbye, Mr. Wilson. And then we drove off. Well, we had Valentine's Day, so I thought I'd read, if I can find it, because I forgot to mark it. Oh dear, this is wasting your time. Deep breath, deep breath. What if I can't find it, Julie? What are we going to do? Spend all this time organizing your books, and then you can't find the poem. I thought it was in this book. That's funny. No, it's not. Come on.
Should we get another book?
Could be in another book, and then we'll have to pause for a second. No, it's got to be in this book. This is really... That's my job, though, to waste your time, right? Oh, sure, that's good. We can do that. I know I put it in this book. I know I did. Isn't this fun to watch somebody look for a poem? Is it on pause, Julie? Well, we'll find something else. Oh goodness, Julie will bring 15 books. Did you find it?
Is it in suite for the turning here?
No, that's not it. Did you turn the thing off?
No.
No. I don't know what to do now.
Okay.
No.
Pick a different poem.
I know I put it in this. And as soon as we're done, we'll find it.
Okay.
But we won't read that one. We'll read this one instead, which is called...
Is it in the marriage sequence? No?
Well, I know it's in the book called Poems from Both the Same Ghost and...
And between?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know it's in there. Meanwhile, I'll just read titles to you. Is that good? Yeah, I'll just read titles. That makes a poem, doesn't it? Hardship in a Nice Place, the end of this year. Have you heard the one about It's April and it should be spring? Epilogue. The two chairs in the garden. What are you supposed to do anyway? Within the moment of indefinite suffering, the hidden permutations of sorrow. Listening to Chopin in early winter. Part 2. As the Spirit Moves poetry reading. Instead of planting roses. The Man Who Loved Mulch. After midnight's insomnia's solace, a man I know. Moose, Indian. Several old people are walking by our window. A list of possibilities in an uncertain order. He brings home everything. Monet's Winter on the Seine, Levancourt. Preludes. Another puppet show. The Reunion. The dog's door is at the far end of the house. The artist to the canvas. But he loved his dog. Oh, Julie, we can't be taking all this time. It's insane. Oh, goodness sakes. This is just so silly. But here's the first book I ever put out. It's called The Same Ghost. You can find it in used books now for $418. And it was for Meredith. And it's the first poem in this book, so I should have grabbed it right away. Okay. So I'm having lunch with a poet named John Woods, and he talked about another poet named John Hollander, and he said that John Hollander makes the smallest talk I've ever heard. One of the great quotes, the smallest talk I've ever heard. Well, I stole that. Love Poem. Isn't that a great title, huh? Love Poem. He makes the smallest talk I've ever heard, John Woods. The smaller the talk, the better. I want gnomes in my voice. I want to sit with you and have us solemnly delight in dust, and one violet, and our fourth night out, and buttonholes. I want us to spend hours counting dog hairs and looking up who hit 240 in each of the last 10 years. I want to talk about the weather and detergents and carburetors and debate which pie our mothers made the best. I want us to shrivel into nuthatches, realize the metaphysics of crossword puzzles, and wait for the next sports season. Turn into sleep, holding each other's favorite flower, day, color, record, playing card. And when we wake, I want us to begin again, never saying anything more lovely than garage door. Take care. I'm sorry for everything screwed up this morning. It was fun. It was fun. Take care. Be kind. Try to be cheerful. Bivvy's nose says take care too. Bye-bye.